What I'm doing right now has absolutely nothing to do with what I studied. I studied 32 teeth and I don't even think about teeth in my day job, okay? That's life. If we think that we would have it all figured out at some age, we are just kidding ourselves because that's a joke. Careers are not built by being safe. They are built by staying curious. The best decisions don't mean that you're comfortable. They can be very, very uncomfortable to take. Most of us are pretty unsure and some of us are completely confused about what we need to do in our careers. That does not mean that something is wrong with you. It just shows that careers are very non-linear. There's no single path. It can be completely chaotic. It can be very messy. There are a lot of pauses and for sure there are restarts. Everybody has restarts in their career and in fact that's very normal. A lot of us are brought up to think that there is one straight line. If we study something, we need to stick to it and we need to go into a job that's directly related to that. That is something that I want to challenge today. Let's take me for an example. So I'm a dentist. I did not like maths, so I went into biology. I missed MBBS by a few marks, so I said, okay, let's do BDS, whatever. I didn't even bother, I just joined it. I loved what I did. The 5 years, I enjoyed myself. I came first. And the last year, 2019, you all know what happened in 2019 or 2020. COVID hit. Now, that was the time everybody in my batch was just sitting and wondering what to do next because obviously nobody wanted to go to the dentist. That's the place you would get affected the most. And I didn't want to wait. Honestly, I was just bored. I didn't feel like waiting. So I said, okay, let me just do an MBA in hospital administration. Studied for 2 years. And by the time the third wave of COVID hit, I had a job in a cancer hospital as an admin. What did I study and what was I doing? I had no clue, but I still joined. I was taking patient payments. I was talking to patients' families. I was buying supplies for the department. That was my job for 1 year. And then I had an opportunity to join GSK. I got a job in the business operations team. At the time, I very clearly told the hiring manager, I don't even know what this means. I had no experience. I joined. And to date, I seem to be learning something new every day. It's been 3 years in that company now. And what I'm doing right now has absolutely nothing to do with what I studied. I studied 32 teeth and I don't even think about teeth in my day job, okay? That's life. On paper, if you look at it, this is a complete detour. But if you ask me, I've had a very, very exciting career trajectory. Do I regret any of the decisions I've made? No, absolutely not. For me, honestly, it was not passion. I loved what I did, but it was just the situation that forced me to do something completely different. Now, for a lot of us, the reasons might be different. For some people, it might be financial reasons. It could be family pressure, peer pressure, just anything. Or honestly, you probably just hate what you're studying right now, which is also completely valid. You just need to know that end of the day, intentionally choosing something that brings that perfect balance that Stephen was talking about is what is going to matter. So at age 6, you say, I want to be a doctor. At age 16, you say, I want to be a nurse. At age 19, you say, I'll try accounting. And age 24, hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please hit the like button. That's what life is for a lot of people. And they're all pretty successful. All of these social media influencers, sure, they're successful. But that's how it is. Now, if we think that we would have it all figured out at some age, we are just kidding ourselves because that's a joke. Most people don't figure it out until they hit their midlife crisis. That's how life is. And that's completely okay. That's the point. Now, we grew up believing that there is a straight path. We study, we get a job, and we succeed. That's not what's going to happen. There are a lot of detours. If you look at most successful people, I'll just give you a few examples. I don't know if you've heard of Vera Wang. Some of the ladies might have heard of Vera Wang. She is one of the world's biggest bridal designers. Most celebrities go after buying her dresses. She was a figure skater. At the age of 40, she started her fashion brand and now she's one of the biggest names in the world. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was a bodybuilder. He turned into an actor. And finally, he ended his career as a politician. He was the governor of California. Indians. Indra Nui, Satya Nadella. These guys, in fact, the field that they studied and what they are doing right now is very different. They are CEOs of companies, but what they studied was completely different from what they're doing right now. And are they all successful? Yes. The thing is, careers are not built by being safe. They are built by staying curious, being open to whatever might come your way and saying okay to it. Then comes the question of your knowledge. I saw that most of you thought that career changes might be a waste of your time, or you worry that you have wasted time. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter what you've studied, but whatever you have, the education that you have will never be a waste. Everybody around you for sure will look at you and say, you have wasted 5 years of your life. They will say that, but they are wrong. Because what happens is once you start working, maybe in your interview, they might ask you what your background is, but once you get into the job, nobody is going to bother about what you've studied. It's about your skills, it's about how you work. That is going to matter. When you study, education basically rewires your brain, okay? You not only take in the subject or whatever you're learning, but what happens is your brain starts to think differently. It starts to understand different perspectives. It starts to understand different contexts. And that is where you will learn certain invisible skills. Even you don't know you have those skills, by the way. You'll only understand that when you start working. It could be people management. It could be risk assessment. It could be decision making. All of these things. You probably don't even know what these things mean. But when the time comes, these are the things which actually will come out. And that is because of the education that you think right now you don't like or you don't enjoy. People will look at you and say, you're starting from zero. What happened? You're wasting everything. You're throwing everything away. But starting from scratch does not mean you're starting from zero. You already have built something. It's just that you're moving to a different path. Then comes the question of passion. Now, the thing is, you ask any of your parents or your grandparents what their interest is or what their passion is, they probably have never stopped to think about that. End of the day, when you finish your work or your college and when you come back home, what is it that you feel? Do you have a sense of fulfillment? Do you feel like, I've done something good today? Even though your work was completely mundane, even though you probably failed in that exam that you had, do you still feel satisfied? If the answer is yes, that is the feeling that you will be chasing. That is the feeling that you are looking for. Your parents and your grandparents, their society was different. They didn't have the time to think about this. Their life had a straight line. Your kids, you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you get married, you have kids, rinse and repeat. This was it. But you, on the other hand, you are mature enough and you have the freedom to think about what you like, and you might even be able to pursue what you are interested in. And that is what choosing meaning over fear is. You might be scared right now to switch or do something new, but it's the risk that you have to be willing to take. Now, everything is done. You have chosen, you have gone into a new career path. Let me tell you, it's not going to be easy. You might think that, oh, I like what I'm going to do, so it's going to be very easy. It is not going to be a bed of roses. This picture, the second woman, is a very accurate representation of me 2 weeks ago. I was sitting in that exact same position on my kitchen floor having a nervous breakdown because I was put in a new project with no support. I was having that entire week multiple nervous breakdowns I had. Everybody around me also knew. But this week I can confidently say I got over it and I'm actually enjoying what I do. Okay, so that it's about finding that intentionality in what you do. Like Stevena was saying, it's that, what did he say? Hygiene and what's the other one? Motivation. Oh, you were listening. Okay. And motivation. So it's about that motivation, right? And the learning curve will be very, very steep. It will take time for you to actually learn what you're doing. But once you get it, then you will be happy. You will definitely be able to find the joy that you are looking for. Anytime you want to do something that's away from the norm, you all know judgment is inevitable. It's a very common known thing in India to be compared to Sharma ji ka beta. It may not be Sharma ji, it could be anybody else, but we have all grown up with that. We are either compared with our neighbors' kids, our relatives, our cousins, or it could be some random person on the other side of the country or the other side of the world. We are always compared. If you want to even think of doing something different, you have to be ready. And you have to know that you are going to face a lot of judgment. You are going to face unsolicited advice, unsolicited comments, insults, and people trying to put you down. When I decided to switch from my BDS to my hospital administration, a lot of people who are very close to me came up to me and said, you are bringing shame to your parents. Why are you behaving like this? They have invested so much money in you and you are wasting it all. You're throwing all of this away. I mean, it hurt. It will sting. But you still have to stop and think what is best for you and where you find that value and purpose. So it's not going to be an easy decision. There will be days where you feel like a failure because you have no idea what is happening. After you've made the decision, maybe things are not working out well. You might come back and just regret your decision, but give yourself the grace to know that this is something new that you're starting. Okay, it's you have to start from scratch, which means it's okay. It's going to be difficult, but you will get there. I'm sure a few months ago, this was all over social media. There was this woman, there was this interview, and she said, "Don't love your job, job your love." Okay, and it became viral. People trolled her, and it was funny. I agree. But when you actually think about it, she's not wrong. The way she put it might be funny, but she's not wrong. It makes sense. Let me explain. Forcing yourself to like something. Yeah. So, see, this will probably be the situation of somebody who's forcing themselves to like their job even when they don't. Now, the thing is, it's not just on a whim that you say, I don't like my job, I don't like my college. If it's truly making you uncomfortable, it's truly making you just not enjoy your life at all, then maybe it is something to think about. So, if you keep forcing yourself to like what you do, even though the situations around you are not convenient, what happens is it can very easily burn you out. Very soon, it will lead to a burnout and you will just not have any motivation for anything else at all. But if you are able to find something that you are passionate about, I'm just saying, even if there's something you're remotely interested in, it could be very different from what you're studying right now. Give it a chance. End of the day, when you come back home, you feel happy about what you're doing. It is going to give your life meaning. Give it a chance. You will not regret it. And if you have the opportunity to do what you like and also earn money, I think that's the sweet spot. I think that's the feeling that everybody is craving. That's what everybody is looking for. The balance. So on one end, you have your day job, you have your whatever you're studying, and you're looking at your passion and you're thinking, I wish I went after that. On the other hand, there are people who go after their passion and they're thinking, I just wish I had settled for the money instead. It's both sides are completely relatable. I'm sure you will find people out there who are on both sides of the spectrum, but it's the balance. Money is important. It gives you safety, it gives you dignity, and honestly, having money is fun. I'm not going to deny that. It is fun. But when it becomes the only reason you are running after something, when it becomes the driving force behind your choices, that will lead to dissatisfaction very soon. At this moment, yes, getting a lot of salary, getting whatever you want, everything is good. But like he said, eventually, when you start running only behind this, there will come a point in time where you will just stop and say, okay, but what's the point of all this money? What else? What else is there in life for me? Make sure you don't reach that point. So, while money is a very important thing to consider, I think you also need to give yourself the space to think about other things like contentment, fulfillment, and also think if your choices align with your personal values and principles. That is a very important thing. People get easily sold out when they are shown a lot of money and you burn out. And then end of the day, you have to put all your values and principles on the line because you're made to do things that you probably didn't want to do in the beginning. Draw the line there, see and try and find the right balance. Now, while making an important decision like this, while everybody else will judge you, it's also important to find certain people in your life who can give you wise counsel and advice, people who will not judge you, but people that you can actually go and trust. It might not be your parents. Some cases, yes, ideal cases, it was probably your parents, but in most cases, it's not your parents. It could be somebody else who have probably already experienced life. They know what it is and they can give you sound advice. So that's what you need to do. That is the kind of thought process that needs to go into a career switch. It's very scary. It's very unconventional. It will open you up to a lot of judgment and a lot of insults and things like that from people. But end of the day, you don't need a perfect plan. You just need the courage to choose growth over fear, meaning over approval, and curiosity over comfort. The best decisions don't mean that you're comfortable. They can be very, very uncomfortable to take. And sometimes this career detour or switch that you're so afraid to take right now might actually be the most honest decision that you make for yourself in your life.